I was born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. After high school, I went to work as an apprentice electrician. Due to my driving record, a judge told me it was a good idea that I went in service for a little while. So I spent 4 years in the Air Force. During the time I was in the Air Force, I managed to get my degree out in Southern California. After that, I came back to St. Louis, went back to work in St. Louis as an electrician, close to 20 years, and finally took a job as an engineer, which only lasted about 7 years. I decided to go back into the trade. Some of the projects that I worked on was the St. Louis Arch, Busch Stadium, the Chrysler plant, and numerous other ones, too many to mention. Well, after 54 years of being in the trade, I finally retired and moved out here to Farmington, opened a little welding shop, something to keep me busy. I knew that retirement was not just sitting back in a rocking chair and wait for them to dig the hole. Shortly after that, I met my now partner, Kyle Cox.
I had a lot of ideas of what I wanted to do, kind of now being on my own, some things I wanted to try. But one main thing was I definitely wanted to make the larger steel pans that had been made by a couple companies. So I needed a fabricator for those shells. This guy, Chuck, he's like, you know, I know a guy I used to work with years and years ago. He's pretty slick. If anybody can do it around here, it's this guy. I'm like, okay, great, I appreciate it. A few days later, I'm in my studio banging on a drum. I hear a bang on the window. So I stopped and walked over to the window, and here's Jim Dusin. He's like motioning me, can I come in? I let him in, and he just instantly showed me these CAD drawings of this idea he had.
Very good impression of Kyle. I found that he was very receptive to the stuff that I was proposing. We've never really had a problem. Pretty well found myself a good business partner.
He's like, well, why don't you work on some of this, you know, keep hammering, and I just kind of want to see what you're doing. He seemed really interested in what I was doing and how I was doing it. So I'm hammering a steel drum barrel down, and it's, you know, I've got an air hammer that's that long, and it's loud. The ground actually shakes while you're using it, and so I'm like, so I have earplugs and I've got headphones to put on, and I said, you know, you need something. He's like, nah, I'm fine. It's like, I've been in loud industries my whole career. Is like, my hearing's shot anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. So I start hammering. I'm like, okay. And he's just staring down at this drum I'm hammering on. He's just looking down, he's just shaking his head like this. So I giggle a little bit, and I'm like, what are you laughing at? He's like, I can figure out a better way to do that.
Not being a person that participates in sports, I'd rather be in a workshop playing with things like this. It's something I have to do with my time, and I enjoyed building equipment for these drums. Why all these machines? Well, the biggest problem we have here is finding machines to do what we want them to do. So we actually build all the machines to do all the processes of these drums. We're the only company probably in the world that uses any form of automation in making these drums. We're trying to make a better instrument that we can repeatedly make the same instrument. I like a lot of hands-on, and if I see something I like, I try to master it. I just look up the information, and basically I'm a self-taught person. My favorite machine? I don't know, they're all my favorites actually. One that I've been spending a lot of time with is a new rolling machine. It's grown rapidly, yes. And I've met a lot of wonderful people. getting involved in these instruments, you meet a whole special group of people. And if you say you have a bad time, had a bad time with them, you're a liar. To have a bad time around them, you have to work real hard to do it.
The great thing about Jim is always, anytime I've had an idea, he just kind of looks at me and he's like, okay. It was another one of those deals where, like, he and I, we were supposed to meet.
I guess follow your heart, really. If you like something, follow it.